Quintana, and here we are at the Nightclub and Bar Show in Las Vegas, and I have the pleasure of sitting with Ron Cates of Constant Contact. Welcome, Ron.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. This is an amazing show.
So, how's it been so far? What's your experience?
Well, I had a session yesterday, and it was packed, and the people were super excited.
Yeah.
And I just love this audience because they're so passionate about what they're doing, but where they really need help is marketing. That's not the reason they got into their business. You know, it's because they're very passionate about their bar, their restaurant, their nightclub.
Yeah.
And being able to give them some marketing tips that really help and resonate right away is like the neatest feeling ever.
Yeah. Well, look at you. You got great job. You have Constant Contact, email marketing, and Director of Education as well, right? So you get an opportunity to
Yeah, for Constant Contact, we have these really great online marketing tools for small business. I function as their digital marketing expert, so I fly around the country and around the world, and
Wow.
I speak at these big events, and it's the most fun thing ever.
Yeah. Why don't you take me back a little bit? Give me your experience. 25 years, that's remarkable.
Yeah, I had a small business. I was a corporate guy who quit, and I wanted to stay home and raise my kids. I needed income, so I turned my hobby into a business. And I wanted to look like I was big, like I had mass, even though my whole business fit on the kitchen table. And I started doing email marketing, quote unquote, because I saw that some big companies were starting to do it.
Okay.
And I was doing it caveman style, but it worked. And then a few years later, Constant Contact was created. I signed up on their first day. I'm their oldest customer, but maybe not oldest, but longest time customer.
Yeah.
And my business grew to a multi-million-dollar enterprise. I sold it. I spent years helping nonprofits, but for the last 9 years, I've been working for Constant Contact, sharing this expertise, our know-how, with a wider audience.
That's incredible. So you started as a consumer.
Oh, absolutely.
That is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I went from a customer to a partner to an employee, and I love my company.
Yeah.
Not everybody can say that, right? But I love my company, I love my job.
That's wonderful. I hear your passion. That's really neat. So you did a presentation. How did that go? What did
Yesterday
you share?
was packed. We had a long line out the door, standing room only. Yesterday we talked about email and social.
Yes.
And we gave away some best practices.
Wonderful.
A lot of small businesses, especially in this industry, where they go wrong is they apply traditional marketing rules to digital marketing like email and social. But the rules are night and day different. It's very non-intuitive.
Okay.
As one example, I can buy a list of physical addresses and I can mail to your post office box. You go out there, you get your junk mail, you throw it away, you don't get mad. Email inbox, way different. If I buy a list without permission and I send to you, now you hate me. You think I'm a spammer, you'll never do business with me again. So email has to be pure permission-based to work. Social media can't be buy my stuff. I want to know that there's somebody real at this business. Social is how we connect. So you have to decide what's the persona for your business, for your bar, for your nightclub, for your restaurant. And that's how you communicate via social and email. It's not taking your print marketing stuff and copy and paste it into a Facebook post or a tweet. It's much more personal than that.
Yeah.
Now, on the other hand, I don't want to know what you have for lunch every day. But if you're backstage at the Devo concert, you've got on your red energy dome, I want a picture of that for sure.
That's neat. So how do you get them to engage after you've actually shared the information? How do you get the consumer engagement back?
So one of the best things you can do on a social post, I mean, really every social post should pass these two tests. One, are they going to want to share it with their friends? And two, will it incite them to comment? Now think about that.
Yeah.
I post a few words on Facebook. This is a real example. It's one of my favorite ones ever.
Okay.
It's for a farmer's market. Here's the post. It's 2 a.m. Do you know where your fruit is? And you think, well, wow, that took 5 seconds. What impact does that have? Within minutes, there are comments and likes. Within a week, more than 500 comments. And as you scroll through those, you learn so much about your business.
Absolutely.
I love their fresh watermelon. I wish they had peaches. Parking's real difficult on Saturday.
Yeah.
So if I incite them to comment, they're creating all my content for me. It's magical.
That's interesting. You're not going to walk through the first couple of days, even 60, alone. You're going to have guidance. You're going to have an opportunity to take a professional to guide you through this experience. If I'm a new business, that sounds very attractive.
It's
So
just
that's
such a
really neat.
relief to know that you don't have to have the expertise. So here's something that's incredibly inexpensive, but it's not just an amazing tool, but you get expertise and know-how on how to use the tool properly. That makes a big difference.
It's really neat. So let's dive into social a little bit. We were talking about that consumer engagement. The difference that I see as a from a business perspective is a lot of users, you probably have experienced this, they are reluctant to follow, I guess, or support the businesses because they feel like they're going to get spammed. So how does one overcome that?
So when it comes to social media, I recommend almost zero promotional social.
Nice.
I mean, the way you monetize social is through email.
Okay.
We have almost zero tolerance for social promotion. We have some, but not a lot. We do have some tolerance for promotion via email. In fact, in a lot of cases, we actually look forward to it. So you don't want to tweet out, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. You want to talk about, show off your expertise, your experience, the questions that customers ask you every day. You have this amazing expertise, you need to share it, and you can't be afraid of that expert label. I don't want to go buy from the 6th best bar in the zip code. I want to buy from the best mixologist ever.
Right. So do you recommend a bartender or mixologist share recipes online?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Give away every bit of intellectual property. They're not going to go do it on their own.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always been this, I worry that if I tell them everything, they'll go buy somewhere else. Does that ever happen? Yes. It happens about 1/10 of 1% of the time. More importantly, if I show off my expertise, I elevate myself,
Right.
Who are you going to come by with? Plus, you're developing the perception of a relationship with me. Harvard Business School says we'll spend 69% more with a business if we have the perception of a relationship. Not just because we'll shop there more often, we'll pay a price premium to where you're not competing on price anymore. Social and email are great ways to build that type of relationship.
That's great. That's great. And it sounds like you have all the tools, right? So this is wonderful.
Any way you connect today digitally. Today, one of the trickier pieces of marketing, it used to be we would connect in mostly one way. 40 years ago, if you did an ad in the newspaper, I read it, because I read every page of the paper front and back. Today, you've got some people on Twitter, some on Facebook,
Right.
Most do email. Some want a direct mail piece to arrive to their mailbox. So tell me right now, what segment of your audience are you willing to ignore? What segment can you afford to ignore? None. So we're forced to communicate in more than one way today. It's neat that we have a toolkit that covers that entire spectrum of engagement.
Okay, so the next generation of consumers, the millennial, is looking for a different kind of communication. They're looking for something a little deeper, more of a personal connection. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so absolutely, they want to connect, and this is something John Taffer talks about. You know, it's this communication. It's conversational. I don't want to have an entity I'm dealing with. I want to have a real person, or the perception that there's something real behind this business, and that starts out online. So again, it's not taking your print stuff and pasting it into an online comment. I want to know there's a real human being there. It's a very different type of language. It's more personal. It's a lot more concise. Humor is often involved. But even when you come into my bar, my restaurant, it's not, what do you want? You know, it's, hey, how are you? If someone came in, if I owned a bike store, and someone came into my bike store and said, I was just in Hawaii, I saw the coolest bike ever, most people working in the bike store say, oh, what kind of bike so I can sell it to you? Today it should be Hawaii, what island? That should be the response. I want to feel like there's something happening here, because again, we'll spend 69% more with the perception of a relationship. Not just because we shop more, but we'll pay a price premium. And that's even for the most mundane things. Gasoline, 4-corner intersection, 4 gas stations. You'll decide which one to buy from, not based on the color of the pumps or the price, but who works behind the counter. And if you feel like you know them, that's where you buy. For something more personal, like my bar, my restaurant, that goes way further. It's magnified infinitely.
These are wonderful, wonderful tips and tools. Thank you, Ron.
Thank you.